Hey guys, welcome to the Trophy Life podcast. I'm your host, Tara Smith. From beauty to wellness, wife life, motherhood, and everything feminine in between, the Trophy Life podcast is a place where you can feel inspired and empowered and ultimately create the life that you desire and deserve. It's hot to romanticize your life, so grab a mocktail or your favorite cozy beverage and let's get into it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Trophy Life. Today's episode is a good one and actually a very highly requested topic that I get a lot of questions about on my personal Instagram and in my DMs and all the things, which I'm very excited to talk about what we're going to talk about today. And although my husband will not be joining us for this episode, if you guys would like to hear my husband and I just chat about relationship things and all that type of stuff, let me know on my latest Instagram post, because if people want to see that, then maybe we can make it happen. So before we jump into the episode, I want to give you guys a little life update and catch up a little bit from last week. This week, there is just like so much that's been going on. Today is January 20th, so we've got a new president in office. It's MLK Day. Happy MLK Day. TikTok was banned for like 10 hours or something. I don't know. I've never personally been worried about this whole TikTok ban thing because I just honestly I feel like maybe you know what? No, it's not. I'm not negatively optimistic about that's not, you can't even put those two things together. I'm just naturally an optimistic person and I literally see everything to my benefit. So even when TikTok was gone, I was like, great, this is just working out for me. There's one less platform. So now everyone will be more so on, Reels or YouTube, and I'll be posting my content there and it's just going to grow even more, and I actually I posted on my Instagram story right when TikTok got banned and I said to all my creators and small business owners out there, stay optimistic about TikTok. I personally don't think that it's going to stay banned. I really think it'll be back sooner than later. Literally the next, like a few hours, not a few hours, but 12 hours or whatever later, it's back. So I'm like I just think that in general, when it's something that you can't control, why would you get so caught up about it? And I think that for creators who are just on one platform, I've always said that I don't think that that's a good idea because you're putting all of your eggs in one basket. And so it's just the best thing that you can do is diversify. So if you're a creator and you want to become a creator and you're like, I'm only going to post on TikTok, I feel like if anything that you learned, I hope you would learn to not do that. That's the number one advice I honestly give to like anybody who asks me about what platform to post on. I'm like, all of them. Just do all of them. So, I think Reels is great. I think TikTok Shorts and YouTube, I should say TikTok Shorts. I meant YouTube Shorts is great. And I love TikTok as well. TikTok is where I have, combined over 1 million followers. So I feel like I am very valid in saying that, I'm very calm about the situation and optimistic about it. Because of course I, make a significant amount of money from TikTok, especially with like my gaming channel. That's by far the biggest place that I have that community. So yeah, actually my TikTok account is also just my regular account is also the biggest compared to Instagram and YouTube. Regardless, there's that whole thing. So yeah, I mean, that's basically all I have to say about that. But next thing, I want to talk about this first because I kind of just want to rip the Band-Aid and get it over with. So I thought a few weeks ago that I was pregnant. I had not had my period since my miscarriage, and I was like convinced for a bunch of reasons. I didn't have an appetite. I was very nauseous, and I was having a lot of those like early pregnancy symptoms. Like I was getting up a lot at night to pee, just a lot of things, which I now know were just hormonal shifts. So the day before I got my first period since my miscarriage, which was last Thursday, so this was very recent, I had to go in and get blood work done to check my HCG to see if I was like still had remaining HCG. And then also they wanted to do my thyroid levels. And so I'm like thinking I'm pregnant. I'm getting my HCG done. And then I took before all doing this, right? I was like, maybe I should just take a pregnancy test before I go get my blood work done, because that way I can find out how I want to find out, not through like getting blood work done. So I took a test right before getting my blood work done last Thursday, and I found out I was not pregnant. And it was not that I shouldn't have done it that way, because I would have regretted it if I didn't, but getting my blood work done was like, it was just, when you are going to get your HCG levels not tested and you want more than anything to be pregnant and you know that you're not, it is like, it's not fun. It's not a fun experience. And my husband was out of town all last week for a work trip. So I was, I called him, and I'm so happy that he was able to pick up because he was at a conference, and it's not really, I was in like the middle of the day. And so, he of course is literally just the best and made me feel so much better immediately. But I was very emotional because literally 1 hour before I thought I was pregnant, So anyways, there's that. I think there's just so much up and downs when it comes to family planning and health stuff. And there's just so much that goes into it. And I think another reason why I got so emotional when I was getting my blood work done is, yes, I had taken the pregnancy test and I had filmed everything and like, the whole thing, which I don't think I'm not going to post that, but it is nice to like have that footage because it's all part of my journey. And then, yeah, I think, I forgot what I was going to say. My train of thought just went in one ear, left the station, out the other. Don't know where she went. ADHD is like so hot to have, honestly. Like, I swear it makes me so creative, but then other times I'm like, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, that's where I'll just leave that there. Puppy update is that everything's going great. Luna her personality is very much so middle child energy. And I never realized how much Nova is oldest child energy. Like, Nova's personality to a T is this water sanitary? It looks questionable to me, from Tarzan. For example, last night, Colby made us steak for dinner. Tries to give Nova a piece. She's like hesitant. She's like looking at him like, are you trying to like poison me? Like, I don't know. Like, her eyes, she's very expressive in her face, and she's like looking at him like, I don't know. And I'm like, girl, what? Luna's over here, literally rips it out of Nova's mouth and starts chewing it, the steak. And I'm like, okay. Like, she's just very much so chaotic, middle child. Don't even know how better to explain her personality than that. She's constantly like biting Nova's tail and biting Nova's paws to like get her like riled up. And it's very funny to see their personalities. And even when she's not in her puppy phase, there's core parts of her personality that I see that I'm like, that ain't going anywhere. And I love that about you. I'm also a middle child, so I feel like I can relate to her on that level. And Colby's an oldest child, so he can relate to Nova. So it's really funny how both of us just like laugh at these certain things. We're like, yep, we can relate to that. Luna is very funny, where she will also go from like the third stair and jump all the way down, or we have these like chairs in our living room. She'll jump on them and then go on the top and like spring herself off. And we're always like, what are you doing? Because I'm like, that's not good for your joints. She just doesn't care. She's like, I'm doing whatever's fun and cool for me. And I'm like, okay, girl, do your thing. So puppy, everything is great. Food wise for the dogs, I'm actually going to start them on a raw diet. I think, what's the brand called? It's like We Feed Raw or something. So kind of nervous about that for Nova because she's insanely picky when it comes to food. Luna's a complete opposite, and she will literally eat anything. So, we got the best of both worlds. Kind of wish they were both in the middle, but it is what it is. Another very exciting thing, these are food related items, but I have a current fixation on chocolate covered strawberries. My favorite chocolate chips, what's the brand? It's like, I want to say it's like something Joy, and it's in this like light blue bag. And I love their dark chocolate because there's no like added sugar and stuff. It's just, I think they use monk fruit to sweeten it. It is the best chocolate to melt down with some coconut oil, and then you just make some chocolate covered strawberries. And chocolate covered strawberries are so expensive normally to buy. Now, granted, if you're buying like organic strawberries right now because they're not in season, it's like $8 or $9 for a freaking pound of strawberries. I'm just like, why? What's going on? Anyways, but strawberries are one of those fruits that really any berries I won't buy non-organic because of the amount of pesticides that are on them. So, but that's been my current fixation. Not exactly the most budget-friendly current fixation, but specifically before I started my period, like I was just craving chocolate so much. And I will say, I feel like the dark chocolate actually really helped my cramps. Normally, I don't eat chocolate that much, but I'm like, wait, is this what the girlies mean by the fact that chocolate can actually help your cramps? So I will forevermore be eating chocolate covered strawberries or some form of like Hue chocolate or what's that brand? Oh my gosh, you guys, I got this brand of chocolate, okay? It's from Whole Foods. It was incredible. It tasted like a truffle. Let me pull up. I'm going to literally pull up my recent Whole Foods order so I can show you because it was so good. But regardless, your girl's obsessed with chocolate, okay? My other current fixation has been banana bread. And I love to make banana bread from home because I feel like you can make it really healthy. And it's not like you can make it gluten-free, you can use coconut sugar, you can use a lot of things to make it taste delicious without being full of artificial sugars and sweeteners and all those types of things. And it's so easy. You just throw everything in the KitchenAid and it's made. If you want my banana bread recipe, it's saved on my recipe highlight on my Instagram. And it's so good. It also has like a good amount of protein because of the Greek yogurt and the eggs, and then I use gluten-free baking powder. It's incredible. It's so good. It's really dense too, which I love, like a dense banana bread. It's delicious. I'm not going to give up. If you're listening to this, I've been typing in my chocolate on my Amazon order because I always order through the Whole Foods like delivery service. By the way, best thing ever to invest in if you have a Whole Foods near you, or like even if it's not in your same county, they will literally deliver for you, and it's unlimited on like $35 and more for like $9 a month, I want to say. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever because grocery shopping, you guys, the amount of time that grocery shopping takes is just so insane, where I'm like, if I don't have to go to the grocery store, you will not find me at the grocery store. I will be ordering my groceries. And I also love it because you can see like how much money you're spending before you even buy the groceries. So I feel like it's an actual better way to budget because when you go to the grocery store, you're just like shooting in the dark. I can't remember the chocolate brand that I got. However, Mona Vand, she's dating Gary Vaynerchuk. She recommended it. So if I remember, I'll let you guys know. That's pretty much everything life update wise. Yeah, wow. It's been a week, y'all. It's been a week. We are going to be chatting today about how I manifested a full freaking husband. I was trying to decide where I wanted to go with this episode because there's honestly so many different ways that you can take this episode. And I really wanted to focus on what I did like internally for myself that I truly believe helped me to find such a incredible man that I later married. Because I don't know, I feel like a lot of girls need tips and just very straightforward advice when it comes to dating. And I would definitely say I'm someone who's kind of like a no nonsense girl when it comes to dating. I'm very romantic, always have been. However, I know what I deserve and I won't settle for less. And I want you to get that exact same mindset so that you also can manifest your dream husband, your dream wife, whatever it is that you're wanting and desiring, I'm going to help you get it. So I'm going to tell you how I manifested my husband, because that feels like the most perfect way to start talking about this conversation. So I want to preface this by saying I have been so boy crazy my entire life, literally like since kindergarten. I remember chasing boys around the playground. Like, I'm pretty sure I scared them because I hadn't yet learned that you got to let them chase you. Okay. So I graduated from high school. I really only dated like, I would say like seriously, like two boys in high school. I was never really a relationship girl. I had a lot of things and flings with people, but that was basically it. No one was ever really like to the point for me where I was like, oh, I want to date you. And I just loved being independent. I loved, honestly, like, I'll be completely honest with you. There was times where I was talking to multiple boys at once, okay? Your girl was just having fun, 15, 16, 17 years old, 18. You're figuring the dating world out and what goes into that and what even goes into a relationship. And I think that that's actually such a good way to spend your high school years, because you learn so much from dating a lot of people. You learn what you like, you learn what you don't like, you learn even just like your physical type. So again, a lot to unpack there. But when I graduated high school and I went into college, I kind of entered this era of like, I don't want to call it desperation, but I was just like, I really want to get married. I was like so excited to go into college and just like have fun and maybe find like a really hot guy that was like perfect, right? I mean, I think every girl, if they're being completely honest with themselves, would say that that's probably something that they also want. So I was in college and I was having a ton of fun with like a lot of my girlfriends, and we were just going to parties and doing, all the college things. While I was simultaneously, we were spending a lot of time with the boys. So we were doing all those things for probably like 3 or 4 months. And then I dropped out of school. Actually, I dropped out of school like 2 months into college because I was like, this isn't for me. I was really into modeling, and that's like what I wanted. That's what I had thought I wanted to do with my like career. Like that was like my main focus, was specifically clothing modeling, but I wanted to go into like the beauty space. Anyways, so I was like, I don't know why I'm sitting in this class about, I don't even know what classes I was in. That just tells you how like disconnected I was from school. I think school's great. I think it's amazing. It just wasn't for me personally. I think it's also great if you like know what you want to go into, but I already knew what I wanted to go into, and you can't go to school for being a model. So there's that. So I dropped out of school. I moved back home for a few months. And when I moved back home, I feel like I only moved like 30 minutes away from home because I was going to a local college here in Utah. I was going to UVU down in, it's in Orem, but I was living in Provo. And if you guys want a full story time on that, by the way, let me know, because I got kicked out of the place I was living for throwing a party. That literally feels like a lifetime ago. It honestly does not even feel like that was me. And it's so weird when I think about it, because I'm just like, that's so crazy. But it also like, I really believe that everything just like happened for me and happened in my favor. So I'm like, oh, cool. But let me know if you guys want to hear that story, because it's a good one. It's a fun one. So I moved back home, and again, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on doing, doing collabs with different photographers on Instagram. So I did some modeling for Aeropostale, which was very exciting, very cool. That was like the first brand that I did work for, and it was for their, it was like for their Instagram account, I think. And at the time, Instagram was like, again, the only platform, and I had kind of significantly grown like a decent following. I think I had like 5,000 followers on Instagram. Again, this was like 2016, end of 2016. So it was like, again, a decent amount. And I was like, oh, all these brands started reaching out, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I was like, this is fun. And I was just taking a lot of photos for fun. I think for the Aeropostale shoot, I think I got paid like $200 or $300 or something, maybe 400. I can't remember. But I would have done it for free at the same time too. But I think I did get paid from that. That was very cool. And that was kind of like what spun this creative thing for me to just kind of like start focusing on myself and get into that creative mind and grind. So one of my friends called me up and he was like, hey, he's a photographer as well. Hey, there's this photo shoot. Do you want to come? I was literally at the gym when he called me and I was like, sure. Let me go home. I just got to shower really quick, do my makeup, and then I'll meet you there. It was down in Orem. And so it was like a 40-ish minute drive probably. It was during rush hour too. Love that. So I go home, shower, my hair's wet, literally wet. And I have like kind of naturally curly hair. So I'm like scrunching it, braiding it on the way down so it can be like kind of curly. And I did my makeup like in like five or 10 minutes. I drive down and then I was just like, I just basically was in this mindset of like saying yes to every opportunity that presented to me in the space of what I wanted to do for my career. And again, I had just turned 19. So I was a baby. I had turned 19 in September and this was the beginning of December. So I go to this photo shoot and there was supposed to be like probably like 10 models that were supposed to be there. And it was just me and one other guy. And then there was about 10 photographers. Okay. So just imagine you pull up to a shoot. You think there's like literally going to be like 20 people total. And there's like 10 plus you and the other model, basically 12. Okay. So I get out of the car and when I'm pulling up, I'm like, I see this man and I'm like, that guy is freaking hot. Okay. It's freaking, I was like, whoa, didn't expect that. And especially when you're like I felt fine. I felt cute, but I was just like, again, got ready so fast. Not like my peak, peak moment of like having the time to get cute and ready like I normally would for any other photo shoot. So I get out of the car, just like talking. I'm talking with my photographer friend that's there. And again, I was kind of in this mode of like, I'm just going to be taking care of myself because I had been dating a bunch of guys like over the past month before this and just wasn't like feeling it. I was like, eh. And so I kind of was like taking a break from dating essentially. Like I basically had decided a few weeks before this to not be in my dating era. Okay. I was in my girl boss era, to be honest with you. This was like the girl boss era at its peak. So I think it worked out in my favor for that, during this time frame. But because it was just me and this other guy, everybody, all the photographers like, wait, you guys actually would look really good together. Like your skin tones complement each other, your hair, everything. They were like, what if we just did like a couple shoot? Like, what if we just kind of made this like a cute romantic vibe? And me and the other guy were like, okay. Because as a model, you just like roll with it. And I was like, sure. Like, I'll put my hands up. This guy's hot. Like, I'll do it. So they first have us stand and Colby was the other man. He was the man that was there in the photos with me. So I see him and I'm just like, we start talking a little bit while we're like, getting ready to take these photos. And he was there I can't remember what he was there to take photos of this like photo book that was like a family heirloom or something. And I think it was for his brother or something. It was like, I can't remember exactly what, but he was there for something kind of on the more ambitious side as well. So we were both there for career pursuing purposes, if you will. And he was like showing me this like book. Basically, it's just like a book where you put all of your memories that when you travel with your family. I was like, that's so cute. And then they were like, okay, we want you guys to like lay down on this grass and like look up at the stars. And he was being like super cute to me. I can't remember exactly who was saying, but I know he was complimenting me. And then I like looked at him and I was like, I was like, your eyes are so pretty. And I never, ever, ever, I don't know if I said pretty, but I was like something along those lines, right? And I might have even said like your eyes look like sunflowers because his eyes literally look like sunflowers. If you look at them, they're like green and yellow. It's crazy. Anyways, so we just like start talking, and I'm never someone who's like, yeah, I'm gonna compliment a guy, but like, especially if I think that they're really cute, I'm definitely gonna start playing hard to get. Okay. So we do the whole shoot. It's this whole production. We do like a bunch of different locations. It turns into like a fake engagement shoot. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute together. What if what if you guys get married one day?" Literally, a girl said that. And she was like this cute, mom. And I'm just like, and we're just like both laughing, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "That'd be crazy." But I'm like, also, I'm like, I'm 19, like that's crazy. And again, I was in my mode of not wanting a relationship or even remotely looking for one. Okay. So we wrap up with the shoot for like, it was probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. We wrap up, and then Colby had to leave. So he left, did not ask for my number. And I was like, kind of bummed because I was like, whatever. We get in the car, we drive, I don't know, 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds. I get an Instagram DM. It says, Colby Ross Smith. Hey, can I get your number? I think oh my gosh, I should scroll all the way back up. It takes so long to scroll up all the way on my DMs, but I've never deleted our DMs, so that I love that they're still on there. He said something along the lines of like, hey, I forgot to ask for your number. Can I get it? I think he was like too scared to ask for it. He'll say otherwise. We should get him on the pod to like say his side of the story, because I think that would be so cute and fun. Then you could hear it from his point of view. Right now you could hear it from mine, and then you can hear it from his. But so he asks for my number, and I waited, of course, a while to respond and accept the DM and give it to him. So we went to like dinner with a bunch of the photographers, and again, Colby had left. So it was just me and like 4 or 5 photographers, and they were all just like, you and Colby would be so cute together. And I'm like, you guys, I just met him. Like, what? And no one even really knew him, but they were just like, you guys would literally be perfect together. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's crazy. Anyways, fast forward a few hours, I give him my number. He texts me immediately, and he says, hey, can you talk? And I'm like, yeah. So he calls me. I get home. It was like probably around like 8, maybe 7 or 8 p.m. He calls me, and we talk on the phone all night long. Not once did we take a break. And I think we ended up falling asleep around 7 a.m. We literally talked on the phone all night. I don't even know what we talked about. And it's so crazy when I think about that, because I'm like, it just doesn't surprise me at all, because we still do that. Like when we go on road trips, we don't play music. We hardly listen to like a book, but if we do listen to anything, it'll be a book, but we pause it a million times and talk about it. We've driven to California multiple times, which is like 12-hour drive from Utah, and we never talk. I mean, we will go the whole way without playing anything in the car, which is like kind of crazy if you think about it. Because I don't feel like I know. Anyways, I never thought that would be like possible as having someone that you can relate with that deeply in a relationship, but it's a thing. It's a thing, okay? Anyways, going back to my story, my ADHD is really showing right now. Is it ADHD or ADD? I don't even know. I don't even know the difference. I mean, I do know the difference, but I don't know which is which. Anyways, we talk on the phone all night. My best friend Jordan had slept over at my house, and she was just like, oh my gosh, you guys are so cute. And she was like dead asleep. So I'm like trying to be quiet, and we never stopped talking after that. He was going on a trip with like a bunch of friends, I think like 2 days later. Or no, he left the next day, actually. He left the next day, and he had already like invited some girls on the trip. So he was like, obviously we had just met. Like, what is he going to say? Come to California? No, he's not going to say that. But he did talk to me on the phone every night there, and it was very cute. And so we just kept texting. And apparently some girls that were on the trip liked him and were very upset about that. So, which I can get. Like, if you just drove 12 hours to go on a trip with someone, you like them, that would suck. That would suck. But it was great for me. So that's all I can say about that. But yeah, he was so cute and very interesting to me right off the bat. But I will say that even though we were like talking a lot and stuff, I feel like there was this vibe that I would constantly give to him of just like I was playing hard to get still. I wasn't like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to have that balance. And we didn't start dating, I don't think, exclusively for like maybe like 6 or 8 weeks or something after we had met, which is still pretty quickly. But I feel like when you connect with somebody on that level and that quickly, you just kind of know. And if the guy likes you enough, he will make it known to you. You won't have to question. There won't be any like crazy games. There'll be some games just like for fun, but it's nothing like crazy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, basically that's how we met. And then, I just really think there's an art of playing hard to get for the girls. And I think that would have to be a full separate episode, but I truly believe that if a man wants you, you will know and you won't have to guess. So, we dated for about a year, and I had always told Colby I'm never marrying somebody unless I've dated them for a year. I think he would have married me sooner than that if he had it his way. But I was very like, no, I'm not getting married less than a year, especially because I was only 19. So I was freshly 20 basically when we got married. Or I guess I was like almost 21, kind of. Not really, because my birthday's in September and we got married in May. So, anyways, but yeah, I think now that I'm thinking about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, it'd be so fun to have him on the pod to give his side of the story, because also maybe I'm just a narcissist, but now I like want to hear him talk about me and say the whole story. Okay, so when I reflect on the process of us dating and me basically like being totally at peace with not dating anybody, also, why do you always find or meet somebody whenever you're just like, when you have fully surrendered and you're just like, whatever's meant to be will be? Because I don't know why things work out that way, but I swear they always do. And I had kind of been dating, I had been dating guys before him, like pretty much right before him, that I also, liked or stuff like that, but nothing was like the same amount of spark that it was with Colby, which again, it's like kind of just one of those things that I feel like when you really do just know. And he knows too, and he makes it known too. So, and I guess he doesn't make it known to you. He makes it known to you by fighting for you, because obviously you can feel that way about somebody and it cannot be reciprocated. So it's very important, honestly, I think, for the guy to be more obsessed with you than you are with them. And that's the vibe you want to get, for sure. So, again, I was very intentional about how I wanted him to treat me, and I knew what I deserved, and I would not settle for less. I had dated some guys before him when I went to college, again, just kind of like chill, nothing crazy, and they did not meet that standard. And so I did not talk to them after that, because I was like, there's no point. If a man can't even treat you the way that you deserve to be treated when you're just dating, when they're supposed to be like extra trying to fight for your attention, girl, kick him to the curb, okay? See ya. Don't come back unless he like really changes, which I do believe people can change. But, if someone shows you who they are, maybe believe them. And even if they change, they can still show you who they are. But just keep that in mind. So I really wanted someone who made me a better person. That was like something I would say was a very core piece to me finding a husband. And there were some people that I dated that I do feel like fit that description. But again, Colby and I just related on so many different things on a different level that I just couldn't even sometimes comprehend or explain. Didn't have that same connection with other people. And he just kind of hit all those core things that I wanted in a person. And honestly, a lot of things that I didn't even like realize at the same time that I also wanted in somebody, which I think is so cool. And obviously, I was very young, so that makes sense. But I think that when you are dating somebody, they can have something that just kind of is like a yin and yang situation. And it's really cool to just see that balance come to fruition. I was also very open to meeting somebody and knew that it would just happen when it was supposed to happen. And I kind of always just like had that belief. You guys know I'm Christian, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ. And so faith is such a core value of me as a person and my belief system and my core belief system, I should say. And so I kind of was just like very trusting in God, and I knew that it would happen when it was supposed to. And I really just was very chill and at peace with that. And I decided to focus on myself. And I focused on myself by like going to the gym. I was going to church. I was going to the temple. I was doing, I was praying a lot, all those types of things, which really add up and help build confidence. I think they build self-worth, self-love, all the things that you need to be in a position to even when you're presented with somebody who is a good match for you to even be in the right mindset and mode to move forward with that person in a relationship. So I'm really grateful for my past self doing that because girl, we bagged a whole husband. So let's go. And yeah, I think there's so much to be said about that. And that's my number one piece of advice whenever I have a friend who goes through a breakup or a divorce. I'm always like, girl, just focus on yourself. Literally, I know it's like the oldest. It's so annoying to hear when you're not married and when you want to be or when you're dating. So annoying, but honestly, it's the best piece of advice because I don't think that it's necessarily worth losing sleep over something that you can't fully control. There's a lot that you can control, so focus on those things that you can control and, go from there. So I put together a few tips that I have for you. And I'm really excited to share these because they're kind of things that we've talked about, but I wanted to kind of like curate a list exactly and be like very specific. So of course, we're going to focus. You're going to focus on yourself. That's like step one. Focus on you and focus. This is exactly what I wrote. Focus on becoming a woman who a man of great value would want to marry. I am such a big believer in marrying a high value person. In order to marry a high value person, you have to be a high value person yourself. So the first thing that you're going to do is focus on yourself, and you're going to focus on building yourself as a woman of high value. Now, what I mean by that is just plain and simple becoming the best version of yourself. Start working on that. Obviously, you don't have to be perfect, but high value men want high value women, right? It's plain and simple. So you just want to, whatever that means to you, whatever your goals are in life, start working on those goals and those things to just keep moving the needle forward. Because like, let's say you want to be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe you really want to get into cooking or you want to learn more about cooking. Maybe you could take a cooking course, just whatever it is for you. Which by the way, I'm 100% on board for women who don't want to work. I think that's totally okay. And also being a mom and running a house is a freaking job. Okay. It is so much work. It's crazy how much work it is. It is a full-time job. So don't ever feel bad for that. And I'm actually grateful for like the homemaker movement that's kind of been coming to fruition because I think it's just very overdue. And I think there's just so many different, we as women, the whole point of feminism is that you can choose what makes you happy and you can choose to either stay home, you can stay home and work. And there's just so many different things that you can choose personally in your life. Like for me, I'm like, I want kids, but I want to spend a lot of time with my kids and be home. But I also really enjoy working and growing my business and creating content. Like those are things that I really love along with this podcast, and I don't see that going anywhere for me personally. But yeah, and it works for me and my husband, but my husband would also be 100% cool if I just wanted to be a 100% stay-at-home wife. So again, also finding a husband that supports you in whatever you do, and if you change your mind, that he's still cool with that. That is, oh my gosh, it's so valuable. I wish I could like share like conversations that my husband and I have had with, just navigating life as a couple, because oh my gosh, it's like my husband is my rock, and I don't know, I just really want that for every woman out there, and I really can't imagine my life honestly without him. So there's that. Next thing that you're going to do is you're going to put yourself in the right situations to potentially meet the right person. Again, we're not going to be forcing anything, but whatever your goals are, find out where those types of people will be, and even just like start making friends too. Like friends is also just a great thing to do. If you want to marry a certain type of person, like let's say you want to marry a high value man, I don't think a high value man's going to be at a strip club, right? This is maybe, who knows? But like you want a family man or something, where would you find them? Think about that, and think about what relates to you as a person and what you resonate with and what you can relate on. And I would highly recommend going off of that. Like technically Colby and I both met we were both hustling in different ways. I wanted to get photos for my modeling portfolio, and he wanted to get content for his brother's company. So both are great, both are very cool, and it's cool how that one thing that we both were working towards ended up, we met our spouses, we met each other from it. So very cool. The next thing, of course, that you're going to do is have a self-care and self-love ritual. Now, I kind of shared what I had been doing before, but even just starting out by like going to the gym and working on your physical health, you'll never regret that. And there's so much power that comes from the confidence of like weightlifting and just spending time on yourself. It feels so good. And especially when you're in your dating era, I think especially then it's great to feel really confident in your physical appearance, because it just kind of can eliminate one section of insecurities. Again, I'm speaking from personal experience here, okay? So, but that was just something that for me really helped with. And I think anyone who, also loves going to the gym would agree with, especially if you've experienced any like, significant weight loss or something, like you'll never regret that. And it's also just a great habit to have in general. But it also just, it's just the best. Like going to the gym, getting a good workout in. I swear there's benefits to that we still don't even know. Even just going for a walk, like, oh my gosh, it's the best. So yeah. Also, when you have your self-care and self-love ritual, when you get into a relationship, nobody can fill that cup for you besides yourself. So it's very important that you have this. And even if you are in a relationship and you're listening to this, I think it's still really important that you have those things, and it's never too late to start. There's no time that's better than the present. The next thing I have is praying/meditating. So obviously if you're not religious, even just meditating is incredible, and it's great for self-awareness. It's also great for manifestation. There's so many benefits to both of those things. I personally can speak a lot to both of them and the power of meditation and prayer. I didn't really get into meditating until I met Colby. But yeah, prayer is obviously incredible, and never underestimate the power of both of those. The next tip I have for you is, and the last one, is to fully surrender and live your life in your truth, and just trust that when the right person is meant to come into your life, that they will. And I know that the word truth is like, I don't know, I don't really know if I like that word, because it just sounds like so cheesy and so guru-y, but I feel like it's really, it's true, and it is what it is, because when you're living your most authentic self, people will just come into your life that are meant to. And I would say the same thing for like friends too, not just a relationship. So I think it's great to keep that in mind in general. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See everything as your benefit because you deserve it. And yeah, I'm excited for you. And I love you guys so much. Let's get to manifesting those husbands. See you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. If you enjoyed it, make sure to join the Trophy Life Club. It's a free community for the girls by yours truly, and it's on Instagram. It's just at Trophy Life Club. You can also follow me at Tara Kelly Smith on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you have an extra minute, I would also love and super appreciate if you would review the podcast. This will just help us reach more women who could use a little TLC, aka Trophy Life Club, in their life. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.